Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really mind-bending idea, the concept that our thoughts don't just perceive the world, they actually create it. We're going to break down exactly how our judgments shape our reality, and we'll be using the powerful teachings of Lesson 311 from A Course in Miracles as our guide. So let's just jump right in with the big question. What if you could fundamentally change your experience of the world, not by changing anything outside of you, but just by changing how you think about it? I mean, it's a pretty radical idea, right? And that's exactly what we're going to unpack. Okay, so to really get the power behind this, we've got to start with the problem it's trying to solve. Let's call it the judgment trap. You know that feeling of being stuck, kind of boxed in by your own perceptions of the world? That's what we're talking about. We've all been there. Something happens, maybe a tough conversation at work, or a project goes completely sideways, and boom, we react instantly based on how it looks on the surface. And before you know it, we're caught in these frustrating loops of anger, anxiety, and conflicts, and it all traces back to that first knee-jerk judgment. Now, the source material actually has a name for this. It calls it the ego's judgment, and it's a way of seeing that's built on a foundation of fear and misunderstanding. Its main job? To create separation. That whole me versus them or me against the world feeling. And that inevitably leads to suffering. This is the trap. So, what's the escape route? How do we get out of this trap? Well, the solution is a really radical shift in perspective, and it's unlocked by what the source calls conscious judgment. And this brings us to the core powerful line from Lesson 311. I judge all things as I would have them be. Just let that one sink in for a second. This is not a passive observation. This is an active, powerful declaration. So what does that really mean? This is the core teaching. Our judgments are not just passive reports on what's happening. No way. They are creative acts. This idea completely flips the script. It shifts our role from being commentators on our lives to being co-authors, giving us the power to see things not just as they appear, but as we would have them be. And this brings us to a fundamental choice point in how we live our lives. It's a choice between two totally different ways of seeing the world. The ego's automatic perception on one side, and a consciously created reality on the other. And just look at the contrast here. On one side, you've got the ego's judgment. It's fear-based, it creates separation, and ultimately it leads to suffering. But on the other hand, you've conscious judgment. This is aligned with love, it's based on a deeper truth, and it has the power to completely transform our experience. The choice between these two ways of seeing is a choice we get to make in any moment. And let's be super clear about something important here. This is not about denial or pretending problems don't exist. Not at all. It's about recognizing that you can't always change what happens to you, but you can always change how you experience it. It's an internal shift that changes your reality from the inside out. Okay, so that's the theory, but how do we actually put this into practice in our real lives? Let's get into the practical side with your mind's toolkit, some actionable steps you can use to start reshaping your world. The source material gives us some fantastic, relatable examples. Think of a challenging colleague. Your default judgment might be that they're just difficult. This practice invites you to consciously decide, I choose to see them as kind and understanding. The shift happens inside you first. Or think about a personal setback. Instead of labeling it a failure, you can rejudge it as an opportunity for growth. That's how you take back the power. And here are 2 simple exercises to make this a daily habit. First, journaling. At the end of the day, write down a negative judgment you made. Then, right below it, rewrite it. How would you prefer to see that situation? Second, use affirmations. A simple phrase like, I choose to see love in every situation, repeated throughout the day, can begin to retrain your mind's default settings. Ultimately, this all comes down to making a small but consistent daily shift in your perspective, which, of course, brings us to your challenge for today. And this is the most crucial takeaway. If you remember one thing, make it this. This power to shape your reality isn't something you need to go out and find. It's available to you right now, in this very moment, with the very next thought you choose to think. So the invitation here is to really think about how you can personally start making this conscious shift, how you can intentionally choose judgments that are aligned with love and understanding as you go about your day. And to make it even more potent, let's end right here. Don't let this just be an abstract idea. What is one specific situation, one person, or one challenge in your life right now where you can apply this teaching? Because the real power isn't in just knowing this, it's in using it. Thanks for joining me.